You didn't even know I was gone, did you? I just got back from a 3-week mini sabbatical, the first time I've ever taken that long away from work, and I want to tell you all about it. I have never taken this long away from my business since I started it back in 2018. And not only was I going to be gone for 3 weeks, I was literally not going to be reachable. I was going to be on a boat taking my first ever Disney cruise. Then I was going to be hanging out in Universal Studios and then going back to the Caribbean islands for some more fun in the sun. And if I'm being honest, I was freaking out just a little bit leading up to this vacation because it's a long time to be away. And that worry isn't because of my team. I was very confident that my team could run regular business operations without skipping a beat while I was gone. That's something we've been working towards for a long time, and everybody knows their role, and I knew I could trust them to keep the train on the tracks. But there are a few things in my business that really I'm the one who's still solely responsible for. And some of that I could take care of ahead of time. Some of it was just about planning and batching content like this that I could put out while I was gone. But the other thing that I own in the business is the finances. And that probably surprises no one since finances are kind of my thing. But how the heck do you manage a business's finances when you don't have a reliable internet connection and you're going to be gone for 3 whole weeks? Well, today I'm going to tell you exactly what I did. And I will admit, I did not check my books once. I did not check my payroll once. I did not even check my bank account once. And my business was still completely fine. Actually, better than fine. And if I'm honest, this is not something that I was able to do earlier on in my business. I specifically was thinking about a time back in 2019 when I was on a trip to Disney World with my kids. We were walking around the park trying to have a good time, and I just kept having to check my phone and check my email and see what was going on in the business. And that was on a Sunday. And it was actually that same day that I lost my phone at breakfast. Turns out it fell between the seats at our character breakfast, and I didn't get it back until close to midnight that night. And I have distinct memories of the first half of that day being so worried and thinking about nothing but what was going on back at home and trying to find my phone. And then finally I got to the point in the day where I just said, well, I guess we're just gonna have to lean into this. And it ended up being the best day of the vacation because I was present with my kids and I didn't have a phone in front of me distracting me. And that's a lesson that I learned the hard way back then, but I didn't want to have to relearn that lesson. So going into this vacation, it was critical that I would be able to be present every second of every day. I didn't want to be thinking about or worrying about what was going on back in my business. And I wanted to go and just feel free. We do these businesses so that we can find freedom. That is the reason that so many people tell me they started their business, but then they feel trapped inside it. And I decided that that was not going to be me. So in this video, I'm going to tell you exactly what I did and the different tools that I use to automate my finances while I'm away and how I prepared for such a long time to be completely away from my business. Now, before I left, I spent a couple of hours making sure that everything was set up so that it could run smoothly without me. Now, it didn't take that long for me to set up this time, mainly because I already run my business with a lot of automations when it comes to finances. And yes, doing all of that took some time, but now I can walk away and not be stressed the entire time I'm gone. So now I'll walk you through all of those tools that I use to put my business finances on autopilot. Now, the first thing that I do, and this is something that I do every week anyway, is cash flow forecasting. Now, this doesn't have to be anything fancy, and you don't have to pay hundreds of dollars for a computer program to do this for you. In fact, cash flow forecasting is so important in my business that I created my own template and then decided to sell it because other people were running into similar problems. And the great thing about this cash flow template is you can actually estimate your cash inflows and cash outflows by either day, week, or month, depending on how close you want to keep tabs on it. And you can do that for as far into the future as you want to get an idea for whether you might run into a cash shortfall down the line. So when I was preparing for my vacation, I made sure to look at least a month ahead, and I actually put in some very conservative estimates. So for example, if I wasn't sure when revenue would be collected or how much, I would go on the lower end of that scale and also assume it would be the later time period that it could possibly be. And similarly with expenses, I estimated higher expenses that would come sooner just to make sure that I left enough cash to cover all the bills that might come due. My cash flow forecast is the one thing that I absolutely never miss on a weekly basis. I do it no matter what, and it gives me some incredible insights into my business and the timing of cash. And that means that I can be prepared for what's coming and not have to scramble when all of a sudden I don't have enough cash in my account. Now, the second tool that I use to automate my business finances is something I talk about a lot on this channel, and that is business banking with Relay. And the main thing that brought me to Relay and why I love it so much is the ability to put my cash on autopilot. Meaning, when money comes into my main account, it can be then split out based on rules that I create into other accounts to make sure that it is being spent on the right thing. So I never have to worry about accidentally spending money that really I should be saving for taxes, because Relay automates all of that behind the scenes based on the rules that I set. So by using Relay and making sure that auto transfers are enabled, I am able to keep up with my goals and make those movements to different cash accounts even when I am out of the country. And the cool thing about Relay is that I can also give access to certain team members, but I can set the permissions for what they can do within the system. And Relay gives a lot of different options for various permission levels that you can pick based on what you want your team to be able to do. Now, because I had done my cash flow forecasting, I knew that there should not be a situation where my team would need to get into the bank account for any reason. So I didn't set that up for this vacation. But I do think it is a cool option to be able to give certain team members specific roles that they can do while you're gone. And speaking of my team, let's talk about the third thing that I did to put my business finances on autopilot while I was gone. And that is setting up payroll ahead of time. Now, you may know that last year I switched to OnPay for my payroll and have had a really great experience with them. All of my employees are full-time salaried, and so it actually makes it pretty easy to run payroll ahead of time. So if you are in a situation where your employees' pay doesn't change, you can easily go ahead and schedule those payrolls early before you head out of town, and then you don't have to worry about it. I'm also currently using a beta version of their auto payroll that will be rolling out soon, I hear, to others to be able to utilize as well, so that you can put it on autopilot all year round. But let's say you have hourly employees or your payroll changes, and so you can't necessarily set it up that far in advance. Well, that's why it's great that OnPay has an amazing app that allows you to do everything with the push of a button from your phone. So if you absolutely had to, you could run your payroll sitting on the beach with a pina colada in hand. So now your cash is being handled and your payroll is being paid, but what about your bookkeeping? Well, that's the next thing I want to talk about, which is bookkeeping and accounting. Now, if I'm being completely honest, you probably don't need to do a whole heck of a lot of this while you're on vacation. So oftentimes, I really just don't think that much about my bookkeeping. I know that might be surprising, but bookkeeping is one of those things that is more of a look back. And that means that if I'm gone for a couple of weeks, it's okay that it's not fully caught up. And because I'm using Xero now for my bookkeeping, it makes it really easy to get caught up on all of those entries as soon as I get back in town. Xero is really good at auto categorizing, plus I've added a ton of automation rules in there to really cut down the amount of work I need to do each month anyway. So even though I was gone for 3 weeks, I came back and was able to catch up on my bookkeeping in less than 30 minutes using Xero's powerful tools. Again, I could be categorizing transactions on a beach with my toes in the sand, but I didn't, and that's okay. Now, you might be wondering how I manage bills while I'm gone, and a lot of my bills are on autopay, so I just take those into account when I do my cash flow forecasting. But for the ones that aren't, I will use Melio directly through Xero. I actually did a whole video recently all about Melio if you want to go check out more about that and how you can use it to automate your bill payments. And of course, I have special deals that I've negotiated just for you on every tool that I've mentioned within this video. So if you're interested in signing up for OnPay or for Xero or for Relay, definitely use the link in the comments so that you get those special perks. Now, I'm going to be really real here to say that none of this happens overnight, and it really has taken some time to figure out the system that works for me that allows me to basically just be gone and truly be able to be present where I am. And that's both from a finance perspective and all my financial tools, but also just for having my business be able to run without me. And if you feel like you can't do that right now, I encourage you to think about all of the barriers that are in front of you that are keeping you from being able to go and just enjoy a vacation. Whether you need tools to help you automate things, or maybe it's time to hire, I really want you to think about what you can do to change it so that this time next year, your reality is different. All you need is a system. That's all that's missing, and it can change your entire reality in your business. Now, I also want to address something. And when I talk about automation, a lot of people think of AI, but those are not the same thing. And while in certain cases AI may be useful, automation doesn't mean full artificial intelligence. And while some of it is genuinely useful, I also find some AI a little bit dangerous, depending on how you use it. And that's especially if you're using AI as a substitute for an accountant. So if you've been tempted to use AI for things you would typically go to an accountant for, I'm going to talk about that in my next video. So make sure that you subscribe. And if you found this video helpful at all, I would love for you to share it with a business owner friend, because everyone deserves a real vacation, my friend. Wishing you the best, and I'll see you next time. This is a pina colada protein shake. It's not the same. Downgrade.